So for those of us that have not made a bid for an auction at that level, certainly for a watchmaking school, walk me through what that process was like with your dad and actually making the offer and then
Yeah.
getting the offer approved.
My dad's a nervous spender generally. So I kind of had to work on that side of it too. Even though he had the cash available, it's a nervous spender. So I
Sure.
had to explain to him like, yeah, we'll get a return quickly. You don't have to worry. Money's not going to be tied up too long.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think a lot of people were generally discouraged from bidding
Really?
whenever they put on there, and it was in very clear terms, minimum bid 250,000. Yeah, we didn't offer that. We offered basically half.
So
So,
you just decided to break the rule right from the
yep,
get-go. Yeah.
just shoot them an offer, almost half.
Do you think
Yep,
they were just bluffing, just calling a bluff?
it had to have been
Yeah.
because I mean they took the highest bid. So, and we probably were. My guess was higher than we even should have been based on what the other people bid. Because
Sure.
I have a buddy in Virginia that also went and actually looked and bid on it. I think he offered 75 or 80. So, and he's a little cheaper than me. Let's put it that way.
How long until it actually got approved?
That's what was kind of weird and crazy. I was living in Germany, so I'd flown back to Germany already. It had been over a month. We didn't
Really?
nothing.
Like
You know,
no,
didn't hear a thing. They didn't have any timeline.
there wasn't anything like your
Nothing.
your bid has been,
Yeah, they
received or something like that.
submission like just an
Yeah.
automated
Okay.
confirmation
Yeah.
email, like when you book a car or anything
Sure,
else.
sure, sure.
I
But a
mean, I'm telling
month
you,
with
and a
nothing.
bad looking one too. That would just look like somebody had just like handwritten some little confirmation email. Like, yeah,
At that amount of money,
crazy.
that's insane.
It's crazy. So I was living in Germany. I was back in Germany. And then I had flown back for something within my family. I don't know if we're visiting my sister or there was something. I was in the US for some reason. And I was with both my parents.
Hmm.
That was what was also kind of odd. And then I hear my dad go, "Oh, I just got an email that we won." And I'm like, "What?" Out of the blue. I don't even remember it.
Yeah.
It had to have been a month and a half. Just
Were you
with
guys, where was
no
this? Like around the dinner table, or were you guys like out
in a
running
hotel
errands?
room. Just
Really?
I don't even remember. I think it was later at night or early in the morning, and I was just like, "We what?" He's like, "Oh yeah, we won the bid." I'm like, "What?" Because I really thought it was just like a shot in the dark. Somebody was going to bid the minimum.
Sure, yeah.
There was a ton of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
26 VU halls is full of watch school, not just. We're not talking about like somebody buying at a furniture store or something. Where
Yeah. So
all watch stuff.
do me a
So,
favor because we've talked a lot. Like we've mentioned, oh, I bought a watch school. I bought a watch school. What the hell does that mean? Like for the lay person, so you're buying tools, watchmaking benches,
yeah.
movements, but from like the watch perspective, are there just like watches that hang around watchmaking schools that people were working on? What is there like an inventory in some kind of way?
The watches were actually junk.
Yeah.
So
Because they're all for like teaching purposes or stuff people
yeah,
are working on.
the value was in the material.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, it was a Rolex school. I don't know if we'll have to cut this one up, but they had sent 3 guys from Switzerland. They cleared every spec of Rolex out of that place.
Sure.
When I tell you all I got was some broken tubes, that's about it. They cleared it completely.
Yeah, yeah.
So when it was a Rolex school, I'm assuming we're talking about hundreds of movements probably for
Oh yeah,
Rolex.
probably.
So
Yeah.
that's easily your return on the 250.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
1
yeah,
second. But
exactly.
yeah, no Rolex. Only the after effects of the stuff they donated, basically, like the equipment.
Sure.
That was really the true value of it. Speaking of the buddy, to wrap that up, the buddy in Virginia actually bought one of the lathes from me, the one that had come to bid on it. So
Okay.
one of
Yeah.
the more expensive lathes. It was about 15,000, I think. So it was
Yeah.
better lathe. Like we haven't.
Sure. Sure.
That
Sure.
one's
Sure.
better. The sister lathe, I guess we would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the majority of the value was probably, or without a doubt, was tools. So high-end lathes, high-end machining tools, stuff that you're basically, if you're going to go buy it, the similar Shablins, if you buy them from Shablin, are 60 or 70,000.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just unattainable for pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
That's really the value from. We had a few hundred ETA movements that was valuable, 7750s.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of their teaching. I think it was basically everything that was in their teaching category. So you'd have the 2824s, 2892s,
Sure.
7750s, and then probably the highlight of that was 1873 Le Magnas, and if anybody's familiar, it's 861 Omega.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was a lot of those. So
Yeah.
that was in their teaching group. I guess Omega didn't fly anybody over.
I guess
So
not. But this kind of like this bulk of like movements and parts and stuff, like this was one of the big purchases that kind of like started the watch preserve, right? Am I making that
100%.
up? Yeah.
Yep. Living in Europe, I worked basically on the purchasing side of stuff. I would come over and I would do kind of what I always did, where I would find connections, go and buy watches from people, and just like kind of a backpack dealer in a sense that would
Sure.
sell stuff online. So that was the main thing I'd always done, and I kind of still stuck to that until I like finally said, I just bought a watch school. I have tons of equipment. I can really have a watch shop and a watch workshop.
Yeah.
So, and all the stuff is there. So we started a workshop in Europe with my business partner, and we actually started building some watches over there. And the big thing was repair. And then my focus was on having our workshop service our high-end stuff and sell some of it over there. So that ended up costing me a lot. That's another story. But yeah, so that's kind of where it went from there. And then the watch preserve was after that fell through semi quickly, let's say maybe a year and a half after.
Sure.
I transitioned to the watch preserve.
Yeah.
So it was just me on my own again, and then Katarina came over and we started basically grinding, just
Wheeling and
selling
dealing.
shit like a maniac.
And so the like the benches that we have here at the watch preserve, like the benches, this, like that's all from that watchmaking school.
Not the aluminum benches. The aluminum benches are just made me weird. So yeah.
From your personal collection.
I collect them and I like the presentation value they have. So I still have 2 benches from the school. They're in a storage unit, but the rest of them are all gone. I'm not a wood bench collector, so to speak. So yeah. And then the high-end equipment. So I have the Schaublin I mentioned, 70 MI. That's from the school. A couple of other lathes from the school, and then just some of the better tools.
Sure.
So.